Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie. I'm joined by Bonnie, Leah, and Rebecca talking about our one cool animal thing. So Bonnie has already talked about Virginia Woolf.
Yes.
My note dramatically. Virginia Woolf. How can I forget that story? No, it definitely had its cute parts.
And its tragic bits. A little bit of both.
Cute, a little cute, a little tragic. And Rebecca talked about Molly Beatty, who is amazing and courageous.
Yes.
I almost said creacious, but I'm
Creacious.
creative and creative solutions to our problems. But anyway,
Yes.
I like it.
and speaking about a woman who does it all, Leah talked to us about Josephine Baker and her cheetah.
Yes. Chiquita!
Chiquita. But before we dive back in, let's get to know one random thing about our gal pals. So I want to know if you guys could magically bestow the ability to talk on one animal, and do you think it needs to be like one animal or like one species of animal? Either, maybe
Either
single
or,
species,
right?
You have a particular one you want to speak with, but if you could give them the ability to talk, which animal would it be?
Dun, dun, dun.
Mm.
All right. I have mine. At first I thought I want to know what's wrong with my baby cat, but I don't, when she starts talking, I don't think it'll ever stop. So I'm going to go with not cats for me. I like the mystery. That really helps. I want to know what the fuck is wrong with pandas. Seriously, because you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't figure out pandas. Like, they eat one thing and they won't screw to save their species most of the time.
They don't mate. They don't mate unless it's like, or if they do, then like, the babies like don't live or something. Like,
what the fuck is wrong with, like, I love them.
They can't keep them. I don't know. Something's wrong. Yeah.
I just want to, like, I feel like they just need to speak to us and tell us, what do you need, baby panda? What do you need, mama panda? Because it's something. It's something.
Yeah.
I love them. They're majestic. They're gorgeous. They're a national treasure. But I need to know. Also, they're jerks. If you've ever seen the video, and I'll put it in the show notes, of the keeper is trying to clean up the leaves in the panda enclosure, and the pandas keep knocking over the trash cans with the leaves in them on purpose, and then they keep taking the rake away from her, and then they're throwing leaves on her. Like, they're jerks. And I want to know what that's all about, because I feel like there's a story there.
For sure.
Pandas. What is yours, ladies?
I might go with kind of sticking with maybe our bald eagle theme, or some kind of big, like hawks or something, like just to know what they see, because they can fly pretty far. Mm-hmm. And maybe there are things that they're noticing that we aren't noticing as people, because we're kind of stuck in, not just now that we're stuck in our little bubbles, but in normal times we're kind of stuck in our own.
We're still in bubbles. Yeah.
We're still in bubbles, and we don't get like a bird's eye view of what's going on. So I was thinking that maybe that would be kind of a cool one. It wouldn't be, and I wouldn't want my cats to talk. I've had dreams that they talk, and that freaks my shit out too much. Like because I would feel like I was on drugs, and I wouldn't like that feeling of.
I've seen that movie where the cat talks and they're on drugs. Yeah,
we've all seen that movie. Maybe we were on drugs. I don't know, but I think I've had enough bad dreams where my cats like try to tell me stuff, and I get it. Like, it would be nice for them to be able to say, like, I'm sick because my tummy hurts, or because I didn't poop today, or whatever. But or
I just hate you today, and I'll love you tomorrow. Or
I wish I could eat you, but I'm too small, and you can pick me up and carry me around. So,
or you are a broken large cat. Like, I've heard the theory that cats think that humans are just big broken cats.
They think our proportions to adult cats is the same, or at least I read this. I don't know if this is, I might have been on
Right.
drugs. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Cold medicine. I don't know. But no, but they're like our humans' proportions to adult cats is the same as their proportion to kittens.
Right.
So like when they are cuddling with people, it's similar to like what size. Obviously, not all cats cuddle, but mine do, or at least like I think they both do at this point. So
Yeah.
I think when they cuddle up like in my or either on my chest or like on my legs, I think it's kind of like reminds them of their kittenhood, even though that would have been a really long time ago. So I think instinctually there is, but I don't want, like, they already talk to me when they meow, and
Yeah.
I'm able to communicate with them well enough to figure out.
Yes, to decode that message. Yeah.
Yeah, at least enough to know, like, okay, litter box clean, food, water,
Right.
medicine, whatever.
No, you still can't go outside. Yeah.
Still not on the table. Sorry.
Right.
So,
Bonnie, what about you?
I don't think I could pick one. I think I would just pick to be a druid and talk to all the animals.
Oh, that's a good
I
answer.
don't know.
That'd be good.
don't
You'd
know.
be a
I
very
mean,
good animal whisperer.
I talk to my dogs all the time, and I am hilarious.
Exactly.
you
Stand-up
don't want
comedian to
You don't
die.
want that to change. You don't want to find out that really they're just being nice.
No, I used to do doggy day camp, so I would just like all day just be talking to like 30 dogs all day, just cracking jokes, cracking myself up.
I like it. See, this way, if you could talk to dogs and they could talk to you, then you get more material.
No, they'd probably be like, this lady again.
Lady brings me food and love.
I don't know. We've started to feel at our house. I know the memes have kind of followed this. They've gone from this is every dog's dream, everybody being home, quarantined, to looking at us like, why are you here?
Right.
And I feel like sometimes our dog's at that point. He's like really sick of us. And then this cracked me up. So maybe we aren't bathing as much as we might when we have jobs to go to.
And the dogs with their super smells.
Right. And I totally like, there was a successful day. We all had like, I think it was like a couple Sundays ago, all three of us bathed during the day. And right?
That's a good day.
And suddenly the dog was like way closer to us and on all of our laps and all of that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Were we offending?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I think I'm going to be like Rebecca, and I don't need to talk to any of my pets, and like Leah. And originally I also thought like Rebecca, maybe birds, but your reason was like really serene and nice. And my reason was I was imagining them all like Iago from Aladdin. They're all like really big assholes.
Yeah, no, it happens.
To people all day, and I think I would just crack up. But
that could be, maybe.
So like
might be a pleasant surprise.
Right, maybe they're nice. But once you came up with birds, I was like, maybe I need to find another animal. And maybe I would choose spiders.
Ooh, interesting.
Super scared of spiders.
I know.
And I went to therapy, and I was talking about a spider that was living inside the window, like not actually in the house, but in the window. And she's like, you should name it and maybe talk to it.
I believe its name is Charlotte.
Right?
No.
Like, well, this is
Bonnie's now triggered. I'm sorry, Bonnie. I'm sorry.
like, well, this is super creepy, but I get what you're saying. You know, this isn't some maniacal evil thing. It's a being, and it could be somebody. So I think like basically it'd be cool with the spiders. I'd be like, hey, are you triggered? Are we cool?
Right.
Here's my deal. I need to take a shower, so it'd be great if you weren't on the shower curtain.
If you could just go.
Right. Like, I will open the side door. You
I like it.
got a lawn out. So I think I need to be able to converse with spiders.
I like how your diplomacy in your fear is your, I love that. Talk it out.
We'll
I don't know.
It out.
I think a talking spider would be even more freaky, like by a million times.
Maybe. It's like if you wouldn't maybe know they were there, and you just hear a voice in the corner like, hey.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, guys. I knew spider. I had an apartment where I had like, when I moved in, but like no one had lived there for a couple weeks, so the spiders basically just thought it was home. And
Sweet.
they were, and nothing worked. Like I tried because nothing works on spiders. Like I tried bug spray, but then everything just smelled like English garden and nothing died. So for like the whole time, like I only lived there for a summer, and so like I felt like I had like a deal. I was like, okay, if you stay up on the ceiling or in the window, you live, and if you don't, I might crush you. But they were
Right.
big, like they were big mofo's, like
Oh no.
that I didn't. And it was like summer, so it wasn't like they were gonna die because it got cold, and it was
Right.
But
and so you just burned the place down and moved into a new place. That's the only answer.
Right? Is that normal? I don't know, but
That's
I
what
didn't
I
get my
hear.
deposit back, so I don't know. I'm just kidding. They mostly stayed up in their little corners though. So I think I had an agreement. I think we had some kind of
Truce.
meeting of the minds. Yeah, but they didn't talk to me, so I didn't know if they could understand or not. But they stayed in their respective spaces and ate bugs, and I'm okay with that if they stay away.
Nice.
But I don't like them in general. Like I like that they have a purpose, but I don't want to.
They're not my faves. No.
I learned the truly fastest way to ruin somebody who's afraid of spiders shower from my son this week.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Because when you're home all the time with your whole family, as many of us are these days,
Yeah.
the shower is the one place you can go to be away from everybody and have yourself a minute, right? So I was in the shower and he came in and was like, "Mom, there's a spider on the shower curtain. Spider on the shower curtain."
You're like, I'm gonna kill you, kid.
Where on it? Where? And I'm like, is it the side?
Oh no, you cut out. Oh no.
I
Oh,
was
no.
afraid it was just me.
Oh no. I think you cut out.
Oh, they got stuck.
Oh, maybe it's coming back. Maybe
We're just
possibly.
gonna hit the very end of the punchline.
I know exactly. It's like, wait a second. No, is it inside or outside?
Yeah. Well, it was
There you guys are. There you guys.
There you are. You're back.
Oh,
Exactly.
what
Okay.
happened?
So is it on the inside or the outside?
No, you guys missed the stunning conclusion to
We
this.
did.
Oh,
We're on the edge of our seats.
I know. We're like,
So I kind of know the location of said spider at this point. Are you guys still there?
Yes, we're still
Okay.
here. Yes, we're intently,
Okay.
totally drawn into this. Yes.
That's the stillness. And at that point, he goes, "Never mind, it's gone." And then he left the bathroom.
And that's when you had a panic attack.
That's when I took the rest of my shower staring at the right corner of the shower curtain, wondering if he was coming after me.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. No, that's.
Yeah.
I don't think I
gone.
would have been able to
I'm
handle
out.
that day. That would have been
I thought that was gonna end with like one of those little like Halloween like plastic spiders that you just like throw it in on you or something. But I don't know what's worse.
Oh God, no. You
It's
know
the
it's
wonder
there,
of
but
not knowing his location, or
Yeah.
if it existed, I don't know.
oh, terrifying.
That's also the fun thing for anybody out there that's had kids that are into insects, when they get those plastic fun ones and then you have to clean up their toys and you have to reach and be, is this real? Is this plastic? Is this real? Is this plastic?
Yay! It's
But
like Russian roulette.
Yes. I didn't come here to talk about creepy crawlies.
It's okay. They're all animals.
They're all animals.
It's animal week.
I'm actually going to be talking about an animal that has quite short, stubby legs. Yay! So when you guys think about Queen Elizabeth, what animal do you think of immediately?
Her corgis.
Corgis, right?
I love her corgis.
Right? I mean, those things are on coins. They're statues. They're in Vanity Fair. They're definitely what you think of when you think about Queen
I
Elizabeth.
assume she has like 25 of them as well. I mean, like it's a herd of them is what it feels like.
Right? So actually, when I was like planning out how to like tell you guys all this great information, my second fact I wanted to tell you guys is that currently Queen Elizabeth does not own any corgis.
What kind of a world do we live in where she does not have any corgis?
No, it's kind of sweet actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was back in 2015. She decided she did not want to breed any more corgis because she did not want to leave any young dogs behind when she passed.
Oh,
right.
That means she's preparing for her. Oh my God.
Right.
Okay, that's very, very sweet. I think Bonnie's gonna cry.
You could adopt some older corgis.
True, right? Some geriatric
Well,
corgis.
she does still have dogs. She has 2 dorgies.
Dorkies?
Dorgies.
What
which
are
are
dorkies?
They're Dachshund corgi mixes.
So there's short legs on top of short legs on top of.
Like long body, right? Or I guess the corgi already has a long body, but
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yes,
Do
2
they still have the
dorgies.
little like wiggly butt?
I believe so. There's still
Oh
a
my
wiggly
God.
butt involved. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
Dorkies.
yeah. I mean, I know a lot of. I feel like I've heard about the royal family adopting dogs,
Mhm.
but Queen Elizabeth, as far as I can tell, she just kind of had her own corgi dynasty. Like,
It's a good way to put it.
right? She's had corgis since she was 7 years old.
Oh.
Yes, and I don't know if it started back then, but I know for a long time she was breeding her own corgis with like her beloved corgis. So she was like, "You are such a great corgi. I shall have you have puppies to keep more of your corgis going."
Gotcha. Keep the lineage.
She said it just like that.
Dun, dun,
Just
dun,
like
dun.
that. So she's had this, long line of corgis, and she would keep them as pets at palace, and she would also gift them to people. She
Oh,
never sold
wow.
any of her corgis, but she's
Aw.
given many, many corgis away.
Can you imagine getting a
Right.
corgi from the queen? Holy crap.
Right?
That's amazing. Screw those like hold the crown jewels. I want a corgi.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, I mean, I would say that, but in my queen corgi, the
Yes.
queen corgi research, I don't know. I think these corgis know that they are royal corgis.
Oh, are they a little bit of bitches? Oh, see what I did there?
Yes, they're a little bit of bitches.
Look at that, a
Yes.
double entendre.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really familiar with the corgi breed. Like, I've never
Yeah.
visited in person with a corgi. But her corgis kind of seem like they might be a little bit mean. Some
Oh,
of them. They're cute, but kind of mean, right?
little stuffy, little
Well,
royal,
maybe.
spoiled might be the word for it.
Mhm.
Well, these corgis do have their own room
Oh,
at the palace. And her mother, Elizabeth,
Mhm.
how
The
did
Queen
their
Mum?
the Queen Mother,
Mhm.
or Mum, yes. She started a tradition where the corgis would sleep in wicker baskets raised above the floor so they wouldn't feel drafts.
Oh, well.
Mm.
So the royal
Sweet.
corgis live in their own room and have wicker baskets they sleep in.
Wow.
Yes, they
That's the
eat
life.
meals prepared by a gourmet chef.
Of course.
They have fresh rabbit and other meats and biscuits.
Wow.
All right, so they are very well-fed corgis. So I guess I get how this could go to your head.
Yeah.
But they've had quite a few incidences of the corgis nipping or biting people.
Oh,
Mhm.
no, the scandal.
Right? I think they know they can get away with it.
Yeah, probably.
They're like royal clock turner, and bite him.
Right.
The guy delivering the mail, him too.
Oh, no.
Yes, right? So I thought I had like a super cute corgi story for you guys, but there's some tragedy in my corgi story as well.
Well, I would think so. I mean, the queen just celebrated her 94th birthday.
Right?
There has to be some corgis that didn't make it. 94 years.
Not everyone can live as long as the queen.
Correct.
No, but I'm saying like some of the jerk corgis.
Well,
because
yes.
Apparently one of her corgis rounded up a bunch of other fellow corgis and they went and attacked another fellow corgi and killed it.
Like
Oh.
gang style?
Like, killed it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the name of this corgi.
Wow.
How
We are
many
outing him.
corgis were we talking about in this gang of
Corgis,
assassins?
right?
Tons
What
of
makes a
Christmas.
gang of corgis? 2?
Okay.
7.
So,
13.
One of them's name was
Okay.
Liam Neeson's. Got a certain set of skills.
I'm trying to find where they attacked all the other corgis. I did see that in 1991, the queen was bitten after trying to break up a fight between 10 or so of her corgis.
Wow.
She
I
had
mean, there
3
might be the
stitches
start
in
of the
her
problem.
hand.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. And in 1989, the Queen Mother's dog Ranger led a pack of corgis that attacked and killed the Queen's beloved Dorgie, Chipper.
Oh no.
Do you think the Dorgie's blood wasn't royal enough?
Oh, maybe they're like, he
They're
is not one
corgis?
of us.
If
One
you
of
name
us.
if you name a corgi Ranger, that sounds like a leader
Dark
of
shit.
some sort of.
And it was like-
it sounds like bad shit.
And it
yeah.
was late 80s,
That's
so
like
is
Chuck
it like
Norris.
Texas Walker Ranger? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly. I was like, that sounds like some Chuck Norris shit right there. Like, if you name your dog Ranger, what do you expect? He's gonna think he's like some kind of, I don't know.
Alpha
Dark
dog?
shit.
Oh, I did it again.
Right. So, but Queen Elizabeth is aware of her corgi's quirkiness.
Right.
So they actually, for a time, employed a dog psychologist to come in and help train the corgis to behave better.
Yes.
Right. So I know you guys are kind of asking, like, how many corgis does the Queen have, or did she have? And it kind of is varied throughout. I mean, she is 94.
Yeah.
And she got her first corgi when she was 7 years old.
I would guess they live between like 12 and 15 or something like that.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I can at least tell you that since she was coronated in 1952, she has owned 30 corgis at various times.
Okay. All right. I would
Right.
I would have guessed more, but that seems almost normal.
30 dogs?
I mean, for a
30
queen,
dogs.
she could have
I keep
a whole
30
bunch of it.
corgis in my bedroom.
Right, exactly. The Bonnie's rocking, at least 30 right now.
And I kind of love this too because I don't know. I know I have a perception in my mind of royalty and it being very proper. So I'm bringing you all the hard-hitting scandals of the corgis to our podcast. And the name of the first corgi I found quite surprising. The first corgi that Queen Elizabeth got when she was 7 was named Dookie.
Oh, look at that. Little Dookie, eh?
Like Dookie, Dookie.
Sweet. He probably made a really nice Dookie on the carpet.
He's Dookie, right?
Adorable. Or she was a massive Green Day fan back in the 50s.
She sure looked
Ahead of her time.
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't have been the 50s when she was 7. Yeah, sorry.
Well, as we just talked about, she just celebrated a birthday. Her birthday was April 21st, and she turned 94, which makes her the longest lived and longest reigning British monarch.
Yeah.
I mean, I did some digging into the history of her ruling, and it's England and her kingdom has changed drastically in the amount of time since she ruled.
Yeah.
Like when she ruled, they still had colonies.
Right.
And a lot of imperialism. So she helped, reverse the policies and basically bring them to modern day politics and where they are now. And their standing in the world. I mean, I know that they have their parliament and everything like that too, but she was influential in everything that happened.
Yeah, the changing over
of British politics. But I know that she's always been very dedicated to her position. And I don't know if you guys will find this surprising, but it was never thought that she would become queen.
Right.
You guys know, yeah.
I did watch The Crown.
Yeah, and I didn't know that because I haven't watched The Crown.
Oh,
so
I haven't watched it either. Yes.
Yeah, the King's Speech.
Okay.
A whole bunch of people, a lot of people died and abdicated the throne. So she shouldn't have, she did not expect that it would happen in her life. Sorry, Katie, go ahead.
Right. No, that's totally fine. That's absolutely correct. I did more of my research on the corgis.
That's fair. That's the focus, yes.
So
I did mine on Netflix.
How far down the line are the corgis for the throne?
Right.
Exactly. That's actually what we need to know.
Like, are any of them above poor Henry?
Could be.
Oh, yes.
She actually has fired staff before over her corgis. At least I saw one example of that, and it was for a justified reason. I guess there was a footman that thought it would be funny to give the corgis alcohol
Oh,
and get the
no.
corgis drunk.
Well,
Yeah.
they're already little bitches.
Right.
So
Like,
probably not a good
Yeah.
idea to put alcohol in the
No.
equation. Oh,
No, that's
So
not
he
a
was
good idea.
promptly relieved of his post after
Yeah.
getting the corgis drunk, but
Makes sense.
yes. I thought another cool fact that our listeners would enjoy to know is that Queen Elizabeth is the longest serving female head of state in world history.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Amazing.
So
Isn't
what?
it?
So maybe I'm just not up to speed. So what is her like? How does she fit in with like the prime minister and the parliament? And anyone want to jump in and explain if it's
She
or
doesn't
was
have
it at
any
one point?
governmental control, but she is
Okay.
an advisor. And it's been less and less of a position of power throughout her reign, actually.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
she's an advisor. They are
Okay.
they are the noble heads of state. They are almost like the spokespeople and ambassadors to what it is to be British, but have no real power. Just
So then
influence.
what is so then
Yeah,
what does
influence.
it mean? What does it mean when like Meghan and Harry say that they're not going to be part of the royal family anymore?
Nothing.
Okay. They
Because
just
they're
don't have.
still going to do ambassadorships. They're still going to do goodwill missions. They're
But
still
then they
going to
don't.
represent
But then
their
they're like
country.
not. But they're not in line for like inheritance or something like that. Is that or
They
they don't
still
get
might
an
be, though.
Less
allowance?
money, like less of an allowance.
Something like
Okay.
that. They've even talked about
Okay.
not even paying the, getting away from the paying of the state and stuff like that. So
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
curious. Thanks for clearing that up.
it's more of it's an honorary, to
Yeah.
a certain, it's important to the people, but at the same time, there's no less power there than there used to be.
Yeah. And that has to be such an interesting time to have reigned and to help, lead,
Transition.
transition all of that. Yeah. She definitely has a real sense of family and responsibility. It's really important to her that she fills this role for her subjects,
Mhm.
that she, I don't know how to put it, but that they know she cares about them and she wants what's best for people in England.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, I thought it was kind of from our Gal's Guide perspective interesting to know that when she married Prince Philip, they had to discuss once they had children what would basically their last name be,
Right.
right? And
Oh,
she
the
chose to
scandal.
stick with her family name,
Mm-hmm.
Wales, and continue that through the line. And I guess there was even a quote from Prince Philip about him being the only person in the land that couldn't give his kids his last name.
Yep.
But she did
Yeah.
eventually compromise, and once the Queen Mother died, she hyphenated it.
Yeah, there you go.
Wales Mountbatten.
I'm starting to realize how obsessive I am about British culture.
You know it
No,
all.
but it's helpful for this kind of situation because I don't
right?
know.
So
'Cause
I watched
Yeah.
Elizabeth yesterday, which is, like a couple of not Elizabeth II, which is the one we're talking about,
Yeah.
but like the other Elizabeth. Like, I love my British history. It's weird.
I was also thinking with
Was that also Tilda Swinton or was that someone
No,
else?
that is Kate
No.
Blanchett, my
Yeah.
dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong blonde
I know,
actress.
but they were right at the same time. Like Orlando and the first Elizabeth came out at the same time, and I was just like,
Okay,
this is a
that's what I was
baby Kate
thinking.
Blanchett right now.
Yeah, okay, that's
Mhm.
probably what I was thinking. I was like, maybe that's our connection now. Maybe not. Not quite. I'll
But
back
anyway,
that up.
Queen Elizabeth.
Well, she was making me kind of on the subject of the names and how last month we talked about Lucille Ball and how she named her daughter Lucille or
Yep.
Lucy. And kind of that being a badass move because you hear about men having the family
Junior.
name continue and there's all these juniors and stuff, but being a woman and being like, she's going to be an Elizabeth too because
Mhm.
Elizabeth are amazing. I'm amazing and I made this one, so it's Elizabeth.
Yes.
I was kind of digging it, but
I like it.
I also wanted to mention that, of course, Queen Elizabeth came into her early teenage years during World War II, and into her later teens. And so she really grew up with that sense of responsibility and made her first public address in that age period, that younger age group, to the nation about standing strong with them and all of that. And then in 1945, she actually got an honorary position on the Auxiliary Territorial Service. And I thought this was really cool to know. She trained as a driver and a mechanic.
Yeah.
So
I like
Queen has some mechanical skills, and I love that.
Yes, she does. I wonder the last time she drove a car.
Right.
Actually,
But that's
she
only because she's
is-
94 and doesn't have to.
Right.
I'm not
But
sure
didn't
if
like Philip get in an accident recently? Or...
Philip's done a lot of, yeah, maybe.
Okay, we'll not talk about him. We're talking about gals, not Philip.
No, it's fine. Philip's weird.
We'll like kind of pretend I didn't say that.
The Queen is apparently the only one that's allowed to drive her car through this like one park.
Oh,
And she can
yeah.
just cut right through it whenever the heck she wants, like go off-roading in the park.
That's right.
That's sweet.
I don't know when the last time it is that she did that.
Right, exactly.
And apparently
1974.
there was something where some ambassador came and didn't like her and was kind of like off-put by dealing with a woman, and she took him out for a drive and like
Oh.
it terrified him.
That'll do it.
Sweet. I was actually thinking, as I researched this, about I've seen some kind of meme or different things online where the woman's driving the car and her dogs are in the passenger seat and like the dude's in the back seat. Have you guys seen that one on the internet?
No, but
And
that
was just
fits.
I was imagining the Queen driving around with all of her corgis in the front and Prince Philip
Philip in the back.
Poor Prince.
Yeah.
Totally.
Those are corgis. I wanted to share this with Bonnie, that in 2007, the Queen had 5 corgis, 5 cocker spaniels, and 4 dorgies.
Nice.
Oh,
Right?
Look
Nice.
at
Even
that.
some goals, right?
Life goals.
So the Queen is definitely a huge animal lover. She's also really into horses. I learned in my research that she also insisted on caring for her corgis herself. So she would like take care of them and clean their kennels and just be their person.
Nice.
Wouldn't hand that over to other people. You know, maybe not as down to earth as that sounds, because I also read
Right.
about how her and her sister, when they were young and had corgis, they would feed them themselves. But the containers, like the little, I'm assuming they're like little silver platters of food, would be held by footmen.
Right.
So the
Little
footman would
different.
be there holding it, and then the Queen would, you know, hand feed her corgis.
On a silver platter with a silver spoon. And
Yes,
same but different.
exactly. So I've been all over the place for this, but I did want to get this info out to you guys because I just thought it was so adorable, and it made me wonder a little bit about if this is part of why the Queen loves corgis so much. So the Queen, for a while in her young adolescence, they were talking about basically not using her, but like making part of her duty being having a connection to whales.
Oh,
Kind
okay.
of like smooth over relations.
Mhm.
And so she spent time there, and I know she has a connection to Wales.
Mhm.
So the name Corgi actually comes from the Welsh language.
Ah.
The cor part means dwarf in
Okay.
Welsh language, and the gi means dog.
Oh, so it's the
So
dwarf dog
dwarf
because they have
dog,
the
right?
little legs.
Yes. And then according to Welsh lore, that corgis were the preferred mount of fairy warriors.
Nice.
So fairy
Right?
warriors, like basically Tinkerbell, will ride the corgi.
Corgis, right,
Yes.
into war. And they went so far as to say the markings on the corgis were the markings left by fairy harnesses and saddles.
I need a corgi
That's
name.
so cute,
That is
right?
adorable.
Yes.
Oh, that's too cute.
So for all of our listeners and or viewers, if you want to get a look at the Queen's corgis, they were featured in the 2012 Olympic opening where she was with James Bond. Do you guys kind of remember that?
I don't know why I don't remember it, but I
That's
want to go
okay.
look at it
Yeah,
now.
maybe I didn't. Yeah, maybe I missed
The
that.
Spice Girls, come on.
So we can totally link it, but Daniel
Yes.
Craig comes to the palace and the Corgis are there to greet him, of course, and he goes and gets the queen, and there's like some videos of Corgis rolling and being adorable, and then
Yes.
video of them, the queen and James Bond, getting in a helicopter, and then naturally what they did was parachute into the Olympic arena.
Of course, that's what she did.
Mm-hmm. She
Yes.
totally did.
I like it.
2012. So we
For
can
Queen
have
and
that in
Country.
the show notes. Exactly.
Yes, totally.
But I totally loved learning about Queen Elizabeth's affection for her corgis and just kind of
Yeah.
who she is as a person and ruler and queen and just fascinating person. So thank you
Yeah.
guys for listening. Any questions for me?
I love that you covered the dogs because I mean, like, I'm learning about myself of how obsessed I am with British royalty and British culture, but I did not know much about her dog. So it's like
Right.
you're filling that hole.
Good.
that
Well, I honestly just want you to think of them as like really spoiled blue-blooded corgis.
yes.
But, not all of them were snooty.
Some of them are jerks. It happens.
Not
I mean,
all of
some
them.
human beings are jerks.
Oh, she had her beloved Susan, although Susan was the one that bit the clock winder.
Susan.
But Susan went with her and Prince Philip on their honeymoon.
Aw.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Bonnie, your lady? Yeah, had her dog go on her honeymoon.
Yeah, it was technically her sister's dog. So her sister was like, "I'm gonna need my dog back for my honeymoon."
Got it. So animals in movie theaters and animals on honeymoons.
And
Let's do it.
a bear posing behind you as you take your wildlife photo.
Exactly. These are the things we need in our lives.
Accurate.
Did they mention if her, like, so I'm assuming they have like a royal vet or somebody that's on staff to like kind of keep an eye on their health issues, or did that come up in your research at all?
I didn't see that in my research. The only
Okay.
time they talked about I did read that they had a prescribed diet. Corgis
Okay.
did to
Gotcha.
keep them in optimal health. So I'm sure they definitely had people attending to that. So then that was prepared by gourmet chefs for them.
Right.
And
then-
nutritionists and,
They had to-
you know.
Right. So they definitely had their professional people. The only one by name was the psychologist that came to work with the
Oh.
corgis to stop nipping people.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
Did Caesar Milan ever? Sorry, the dog whisperer.
Yeah. I was
Right.
thinking the same thing. I was wondering if it was him or
I know
some
exactly.
version of him. Yeah.
I was trying to look for his name, not that it'd mean a lot to us, but
If it was Jackson Galaxy, no, I'm sorry, he does. He's
Sorry.
cats.
He's the cat,
is he?
cat guy.
exactly.
Oh,
Fantastic.
no, that was the chauffeur. One of them got the chauffeur.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It
Anyway.
happens. When you have
Yeah.
spoiled little beautiful little warrior dogs, those dogs are warriors.
That's right.
Yeah. Name
They're meant
Ranger.
to be fierce.
If your dog's named after Texas Walker or Walker Texas Ranger, you're asking for it.
Right, exactly. You should have known Menace.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I think that is a beautiful way to end Pet Month on a royal
Good.
note.
Yes. Well, that wraps it up for Animal Month. Join us next Monday as we celebrate all the colors of the rainbow when we begin LGBTQ Pride Month. Thank you so much for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.